What's up, YouTube fam? Never Torpid fam, Torpid here. Firstly, I want to say thank you for all the support on the other videos I've released from Dragonflight. You guys have been super excited, super impactful, super knowledgeable, testing out different things, letting me know things, trying it out, and it's been really, really encouraging, and I'm glad we have such a great community already. Because of the excitement that's been around Feral, I wanted to let you guys know about a couple other builds. If you're new to Feral and you're just catching this video, please go watch my other Feral video where I'm going to go through the core and everything about Feral, how it works. Today's video is strictly going to be going through 3 different talent tree builds and showing you guys how each one works, why each one is strong, what situations, and really taking Feral to another level, allowing you, based on certain scenarios, to switch it up. So I'm really excited. Let's get into it. Thank you guys again. All right, Never Torpid fam, listen up. This build is non-traditional. I doubt you've heard about it from anybody on the internet, and it's extremely strong for going toe-to-toe with the best brawlers in the game. I'm not vouching for it in every scenario, but you've got to give it a try because it's an absolute blast, and then tailor it a bit to yourself and let me know what you think. First things first, the Druid talent points over here aren't as important. Of course, we take our basic feral set, but if you want to take Astral Influence, if you want to take Rejuve down to the Cyclone, that's up to you. I do really like Renewal here because staying in cat form is extremely key. This is a full uptime build. This is an all-in. We're going to beat you in the 1v1. We don't care if you're a Fury Warrior, and let me tell you why. It's built around Tiger's Fury. Tiger's Fury increases our damage by 27%, and with Carnivorous Instinct, we increase it by another 12. One of the keys here is Raging Fury. As we spend combo points, it increases the duration of Tiger's Fury, and I'm going to show you how we never let Tiger's Fury drop off so that we have increased damage the entire window. One big component here is you're not running Circle of Life and Death because we're going to be putting our bleeds on them, and we want the bleeds to last longer because the core of this kit is going to be trying to kill them as fast as possible and dueling those best brawlers like I talked about, and we're going to be doing that through Omen of Clarity, paired with Merciless Claws increases our shred damage, paired with Tireless Energy so that we have unlimited energy cap, paired with Moment of Clarity so that Omen of Clarity triggers more often, and then paired with the hyper aggressive Incarn. When we put all of these things together, which I'm going to show you, it allows you to stay in cat form and duel with the best while putting out the insane pressure that they can put out. Honestly, more pressure. Let's get into it. All right, let's talk about how to make this work, how to maintain Tiger's Fury over the entirety of Incarn, and how to become one of the best out of stealth brawlers, 1v1s that can go toe to toe with Fury Warriors. First things first, we always want to try to get the jump on them. So ideally in every situation, we're going to go ahead and stealth and open with our Rake Stun, applying our Rake Bleed, and of course stunning them so that we can open. The first thing I'm going to do is pop my Tiger's Fury and Incarn. I want to have Incarn rolling right away so that I can put our Berserk Frenzy Bleed on them. And I want Tiger's Fury to read away because I'm going to show you how we're going to maintain it. The next thing that might seem simple, but I think a lot of people miss is your PvP badge is off the global, but it can't be used from stealth. So as I press Rake, I'm then going to badge to increase my primary stat before I do the rest of my damage, because these two buttons you can't tell, but they're synergized together since this one's off the global. Then what I'm going to go ahead and do is Feral Frenzy, and as I press Feral Frenzy, I press Adaptive while your Druid is clawing them. So you don't wait for the claws to finish, you press Feral Frenzy, and then press Adaptive. Out of that, I'm going to go ahead and put a 5-stack rip on them. Now I mentioned we didn't take Circle of Life and Death, so our dots are not ticking 25% faster, and we want that. You'll see here we have 23 seconds and about 10 seconds on everything, except of course for our Feral Frenzy Bleed, which does a lot of damage. Now that I've shown you guys the opener, what I'm going to do from here is talk about why this is so strong 1v1. So never kiting here, never running away. You're going to see the Tiger's Fury is at 12 seconds. I'm going to go into my Shred, Ferocious Bite combos here. Shred, Ferocious Bite, Shred, Ferocious Bite. As soon as I get 5 combo points. Here I had to do a double Shred because I didn't get the free combo points. So please note that sometimes you do 2 Shreds, but whatever it takes to get you to your 5 combo points. And then you can see my rake fell off, so I go ahead and reapply the rake. We're almost at 1,000,000 damage in just a couple of seconds. Again, not needing to do any kiting. And then what I'm doing is I'm tracking my bleeds. And again, it's Shred and it's Ferocious Bite. But look what's happening here, okay? Tiger's Fury is on CD for only 4 seconds longer, but I have 8 seconds of it. So as soon as my Tiger's Fury is back up, I'm going to press it and then start getting its cooldown back again. And you can just see the size of these are going to be absolutely insane. My Adaptive Swarm comes back off CD, reapply my Adaptive Swarm, and I have my Rake and my Rip reapplied. And again, at no point here are we energy starved. We're able to just do insane Fury Warrior 1v1 out of stealth damage on top of our bleeds. And I'm going to show you guys the breakdown. So right here, I get to press Tiger's Fury again. It's active for another 15 seconds. Our Incarn has fallen, but we're maintaining the 27% buff with that extra 12 this entire time. Easily 2.14 million in about 30 seconds, which is absolutely nuts. All right, so this is what the damage breakdown looks on the training dummy. I'm going to be honest. These Ferocious Bites didn't hit as hard as they typically do, but I'm never going to redo it to make it the best it can be. I want you to see what a really strong average opener looks like, and this is your average damage. If your average damage is 2 mil in less than 30 seconds, we're in good shape. I'm going to duel a warrior now and give you guys a live example of what it looks like to go toe-to-toe. I'm not going to be doing any cheesy kiting. I'm not going to be going bear form. I'm not going to be doing some things you might typically see in battle. I want to show you the complete output in a 1v1. I'm going to trade my defensives aggressively. It's a really cool thrill and feeling to know that you're all in on something. So I'm going to show you how this PvP 1v1 Feral Brawler goes all in. All right, so again, this is a Feral build that's off meta, non-traditional, that turns you in to a rampaging warrior, giving you full uptime, maximum energy, big bleeds, allowing you to trade with the Fury Warrior. I've brought in a friend of mine, No Brain, Hero of the Alliance, Twitch streamer, multi-hero Mike. He's a very effective, potent player on DPS, and I've just asked him to stand still and trade effectively while I stand still. Neither of us perfected this. In fact, my keyboard, that's from 1980, ended up, the number 2 button got stuck, but I didn't want to just have, I don't want staged videos. I want you guys to see true example of what it's going to look like. And of course you can make adjustments. I'm not telling you to stand still, run around them in circles while you're doing the uptime. So have a look at this still to get a true understanding of this new PvP brawler build they've added into Dragonflight that I'm having a ton of fun with. All right, guys, really quickly, I'm sorry there was no audio in that warrior footage. I'm trying to get better at YouTube, but I'm not sure how to go back and add the sound when it wasn't there to begin with. And I can't replicate such a good duel because Michael's gone to bed. So bear with me. I'm trying to get better at YouTube for you guys. The whole idea is that I can do as much as possible to help as many people around the world as possible. So with that being said, we're going to dive into Torpid's second build, the meta Feral build. What does meta mean to Torpid? Meta to me means it's the strongest build in the most amount of scenarios with the least amount of tinkering. I'm going to show you exactly why, but it's based around the fact that we're going to start playing Feral like it was developed to be played. A class that's in and out, a class that's able to keep up, a class that's able to do things even when being kited. The true picture of Druid. So let's walk through the couple major changes that I haven't shown you yet in the video. The first one, possibly the most important, is bringing Moonfire back into cat form. Why is this important? Well, not only does the Moonfire damage over time effect do damage over time, it allows us to keep higher APM and actions per second. What are you talking about, Torpid? When you're being kited and you're out of utility, and you have no buttons to press. That's really bad. That's the thing you're striving to never have happen. With Moonfire, when we're being kited, we're able to press Moonfire on them to not only apply a little bit of damage, but more importantly, to generate combo points. So when we do catch up to them, we now have something to start with. We don't want to ever get there and have 0 combo points, and we never want dead air, dead time, not being able to do anything. That's really, really bad. So Lunar Inspiration is going to be a big game changer. The other thing is it's going to generate a combo point, which is important when we pair it with Blood Talons. Blood Talons is going to allow us to spend 3 different combo point generators, and then it'll give us two stacks, which I'll show you, to increase our rip damage or ferocious bite damage by 25%. And with Moonfire, this is very easy to maintain. The other notable change is Brutal Slash. Brutal Slash does comparable damage to Shred in short, but Brutal Slash does AoE damage. But that's not what I want to talk about. The reason Brutal Slash is so effective is because it allows us to take only 1 point in tireless energy, because Brutal Slash costs 25 energy. When you don't have Brutal Slash, Shred is 40 and Swipe simply not worth to press it. With Brutal Slash, it's going to increase our damage and help us generate combo points with less energy. So Brutal Slash, Lunar Inspiration, and Blood Talons, paired with our amazing Feral Frenzy, Adaptive Swarm, Circle of Life and Death, Berserk Frenzy, and Incarn, is going to, what I believe, give us the strongest build in the most amount of scenarios with the least amount of tinkering. So let me walk you through a couple basic scenarios and things you're going to want to do. Okay, guys, now I'm going to walk you through what it looks like when you open with Moonfire and when you're trying to get your Blood Talons in your opener. Again, that's spending 3 combo point generating abilities so that your next Rip and Ferocious Bite is increased by 25% damage. So I'm going to go ahead and open similar to how I always do, but I want to drive this home, so I'm talking about it again. Tiger's Fury and Incarn from Stealth, Rake to start to stun them, and then I'm going to show you how within the stun we get all our damage off. But it's important to note that I use my PvP badge once I leave Stealth because it's off the global. And then I'm going to Tiger's Fury. And as my character, again, my character's swiping, I'm spamming Adaptive Swarm down here. Once my Adaptive Swarm goes off, I'll be at 5 combo points and be able to cast a Rip. And then right as the Rip ends, I'm going to be spamming Moonfire. And you're going to see that I'm going to get it off just as the stun is ending. So now this is what a perfect opener looks like. I have every bleed and ability on them that I want, and I've procced the 2 Blood Talons here. Now, these weak auras really quick for Blood Talons and Regrowth will be in the description below. And honestly, guys, I'm open to helping you make some weak auras. If you play a different class or on Feral, if you have some questions, let me know. I'm not perfect at it, but just like YouTube, I'm trying to learn and always interested in helping you guys. So this is the perfect opener. And then what's going to happen is they might counter you and put you into CC. But the reason this is the meta build is because you're always going to get countered in PvP. But the reason Feral is so strong and so enjoyable is because when you're CC'd or when you're playing defensive, but you have your bleeds on them, you're still doing a lot of damage, especially when paired with teammates. So this is the reason it's so strong. After you do your typical opener, we're going to talk about what happens. So you're going to notice that I'm spending my Brutal Slashes first, and then you're going to notice that I get an Omen of Clarity for Shred. Now, I mentioned this before. All of your Omen of Clarities you're going to want to spend on Shred, because although it won't cost you anything for your Brutal Slash energy-wise, it will reduce one of your charges. So I'm going to go ahead and spend a Shred here, and then go back into Brutal Slash. And then what we're going to be doing is looking to refresh our Rake as it falls off. We're going to try to re-5-star Rip and maintain Blood Talons. And the way we're going to maintain Blood Talons is using our 3 combo point generators. So what would happen right here is I'd reapply Rake as 1 combo point generator. And then I would reapply Moonfire. And then I would Brutal Slash. And it's going to proc the Blood Talons that easily. On top of the utility I told you about Moonfire when you're being kited. And on top of these bleeds still doing max dam, with having a partner and then you having the ability to play defensive and kite, it might not seem as crazy as some of the other builds we've talked about or are going to talk about. but this is the meta build in my opinion. Again, meta being the strongest build in the most amount of scenarios with the least amount of tinkering, and really the true way that Feral has always been designed to play. I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope you practice it. Let me know what you think. We're going to jump into our third build, which is extremely new to Dragonflight and really exciting. And I know I just called this the meta build, but there's definitely room for this build to compete with it against a lot of comps and in a lot of scenarios. I just think that this one has more scenarios, but this one is such a close second, and in some cases, even stronger than this one. So let's check it out. All right, guys, really exciting stuff. A brand new to Dragonflight AoE Feral build that might feel a little overwhelming at first, but after you hear me talk about and describe it to you, you're going to be able to put it into action quite easily. So please listen close and pay attention, and you're going to have this figured out. Let me know in the comments below how the Feral AoE build sounded to you and if it made sense, because I really want to make sure that you guys get all the information, as this stuff is quite new to Druid. The first things first, go ahead and import my talent tree. And I know I told you that the Druid side's been optional all video, but now Astral Influence is 100% mandatory. I'm going to take you through the talent tree a bit more in depth than the other ones, because we've made quite a few big changes and our build has really shifted to large AoE bleeds. So let's get started on the Feral points over here. All right, guys, so it's getting a little chilly here in Canada, so I did throw a shirt on a little bit earlier. I want to talk to you guys about the core abilities of the Feral AoE, and I want this to be said easily. The first thing is you're going to be getting a move called Primal Wrath. I'm not going to read the description. I'm going to tell you as clear as day how it works. It does instant damage, and then it's going to apply Rip to everybody in 14 yards. It's absolutely insane. Let me give you an example. Here's our training dummies, and I've turned the World of Warcraft sound off on purpose this time, because these guys won't leave the training dummy alone, and it would sound awful. So what I'm going to do is Brutal Slash my way up to 5 combo points. So right now, I have nothing but 5 combo points. I'm going to take Rip and throw it off my bar and replace it with Primal Wrath. When I Primal Wrath this training dummy, it's going to do damage and apply Rip to everybody. This is a core part. Have a look. All I'm doing is pressing Primal Wrath. You can see I have Rips, 5 of them, on all the training dummies. That alone is insane, but that alone is the core part of getting this build started. Okay, so now that you understand Primal Wrath, because I did such a great job at explaining it, the second thing we're going to pair it with is Tear Open Wounds. So Primal Wrath now will consume up to 4 seconds of rip damage on targets it hits and deals 60% of it instantly. So again, I'm going to walk you through it clear as day. I'm going to go ahead and get 5 combo points. Okay? And then what I'm going to do is just give my Brutal Slashes a second to recharge, because I don't want to put anything else on the screen. I want it to be clear. I'm going to press Primal Wrath, which is going to do instant damage and put rips on all of the training dummies. Then, when I cast Primal Wrath for the second time, it's going to trigger Tear Open Wounds, doing instant damage. And I'll just show you a quick breakdown, but it's that simple. So, Primal Wrath puts rips on everybody. I'm going to go ahead and just get 5 combo points. And then I'm going to press Primal Wrath again, and it's going to do instant damage. So let's have a look quickly here. You can see my breakdown is Rip, that gets applied from the Primal Wrath to everybody. The Brutal Slashes I used as an example to get combo points. Primal Wrath itself, and then the talents I'm talking about, Tear Open Wounds. So basically, Tear Open Wounds is going to be how you're chunking people and getting those constant bleeds out, the constant damage. That should make sense to you guys. It's quite simple when you just think of it as Primal Wrath doing damage and putting bleeds on them, and recasting Primal Wrath, making those bleeds do 60% of their damage, and then adding another bleed. So let's move forward. All right, guys, so I pride myself in making sure my content is clear and concise. Primal Wrath puts rip on everybody. Recasting Primal Rip does damage. The second half is this talent right here, Rampant Ferocity. Ferocious Bite will now hit all your targets affected by Rip. So Primal Wrath will put Rip on everybody. Recasting Primal Wrath will do damage, and when you recast or cast for the first time a Ferocious Bite, it hits everybody affected by Rip. So let's have a quick look. I'm going to go ahead and generate 5 combo points. I'm going to put a Primal Wrath on the targets. Then I'm going to just Feral Frenzy to get 5 combo points quick. Ferocious Bite this target, and you're going to see the Ferocious Bite. 3, 2, 1. Hits everybody there. It's really that simple. The last part of this build that I want to go over is just some damage amplifiers and a little bit of utility now that you understand the basis. Very quickly, another extremely important talent is Double Claw Raked. Rake also applies Rake to 1 additional nearby target. So now when you rake 1, it's going to rake 2. I'm going to walk you through that in a second. A couple other things that are important with this build is what's going to happen is when we apply Rip to all of the people, as the Rips are bleeding, down here at the bottom, Apex Predator's Craving. As our Rips tick, each Rip has a 4% chance to make our Ferocious Bite a 5 combo point Ferocious Bite and free. So you're going to see, but what I'm going to do is put Rips on everybody, and as I'm doing my DPS rotation, those Rips are going to be bleeding, giving me free Ferocious Bites, and we just talked about how when I Ferocious Bite one of them for free with max dam, it's going to hit all of them. Some other important notes are we're taking line strength here because we're going to be using Ferocious Bite and Rip so often that Blood Talons is no longer a good fit, so the 15% flat damage is where our head's at. We're also going to run your damage over time effects, deal their damage in 25% less time, but we're going to then run Rip, Rake, and Thrash last 25% longer. So our bleeds are going to be ticking faster and longer. It's built around the bleeds in this AoE build, mixing with the Ferocious Bites. The other thing that you saw me talk about a couple times is Brutal Slash will be our filler to add to the AoE, another ability that replaces Swipe that's going to do the AoE damage. And everything else we've talked about. Now, there's a little bit of change you could make. I'm not going to go into it. Just like everything, this is a strong core for you. And this is where you should start. And there's little changes you could move. Like you could take away Incarn, for example, because the damage is really good. But Incarn is so much fun with this build because during the Incarn window, your Rake is going to do damage as if it was stealth. And I'm going to spread the Rakes with Double Clawed Rake. But technically, if you wanted more consistent damage outside of the Incarn go, this build is strong all the time. And you could spend your talents a little bit differently. So please, just keep in mind, I want you guys exploring and trying different things, but start here. So now I'm going to take you through exactly what a rotation looks like and how much damage this can do when you're able to cleave multiple targets at once. Okay, guys, I'm going to take you through the Feral AoE opener and then the rotation. And again, it's quite simple. If it feels overwhelming, come to the Cleave Training Dummies, do it for just a couple of minutes, and you're going to figure it out. What you're going to do, no different than any other opener, from stealth, you're going to pop your Tiger's Fury and your Incarn and then rake the target. With that fun talent I told you about, Rake goes on 2 targets. It also stuns 2 target. And with Incarn, you can prowl once while you're fighting. So you can prowl and then rake and get another 2 targets stun. I'm not showing that, but fun tip. So you're going to see our typical opener, Tiger's Fury, Incarn, Rake, and then the badge that's off global that I keep telling you about. Then we're going to go ahead and send out our Adaptive Swarm. And I think there's a lot of value in that other talent for the Adaptive Swarm to split when fighting Cleave. But for now, we're going to Adaptive Swarm after our basic opener. After our Adaptive Swarm, we're going to Feral Frenzy. And then we're going to Primal Wrath at 5 stacks. So I'm going to go ahead, Adaptive Swarm, Feral Frenzy, and then do our first Primal Wrath. Once I cast our Primal Wrath, I'm going to then rake the other targets that I haven't raked yet. So now I'm going to have Rake on every single target. Thanks to the Primal Wrath, I'm going to have Rip on every single target. And our Adaptive Swarm, you can see it right here. It's splitting between the targets. That's the opener. Now to sustain the damage once you get going, what I'm going to do here is cast our second Primal Wrath. And then all I'm looking to do is wait for the Primal Wrath Rip Bleeds to trigger the free Ferocious Bite, and then spend Brutal Slashes to 5 combo points to re-Primal Wrath. So you're going to notice I'm going to Brutal Slash, 5 combo points, and then do another Primal Wrath for the max dam. And you're going to see another weak ore that I've created for you guys that will be in the guide. I love you guys. I got your back. This shows us the Apex Predator, letting me know that Torpid, you have a free max bite, Ferocious Bite, that's going to hit every target with your rip on it, and rips on everybody thanks to the Primal Wrath. So then all I'm going to do is spend that Ferocious Bite, continue to Brutal Slash, another Ferocious Bite comes off because of, like I said, that 4% chance, but on all the rips, really starts to add up. I'm going to spend the Ferocious Bite, and it's rinse and repeat. As soon as my Adaptive Swarm comes off CD, I'm going to reapply Adaptive Swarm. As soon as my Feral Frenzy comes off CD, I'm going to reapply Feral Frenzy. And as our rakes start to fall, I'm going to reapply Rake, but it applies to 2 targets at once, so it's quite simple. And remember, all of this has a massive range. Now, the video I show you, I'm extremely close, but this is up to 14 yards of range on these Primal Wraths, so you're going to be absolutely crushing. I'm going to show you one example in a BG of just how strong the range really is. But that is it. I really, really hope, and again, let me know in the comments below if this explained it perfectly for you guys, because I want you to be able to watch this once, watch this twice, and be able to apply everything. I really do. I said this already. I pride myself on making sure you guys understand. That's the whole point of the videos. So let me know. I love you guys. Thank you for the YouTube support. It's been insane. I'm going to keep working on guides after guides and content after content once the PvP season starts. As always, if you want to keep it never torpid, never lazy, never lethargic, in-game and out, you got to want it for yourself, and then you got to want it for others. That's what life's all about, is helping others. So I'll see you guys on stream at twitch.tv/torpid. And please let me know in the comments below. Another comment drop. What do you guys want to see? What are you having problems with? Are my weak auras working? Are my plater add-on working? Is there another class you want me to cover? I have a lot of friends. I can cover anything you need. Let me know what you want, and I'm here to help. Thank you guys. Enjoy the BG footage, and I'll see you in the next video.